All right, let's kick this off with something I think you really need to hear. You're not lazy. Seriously, you're not broken. And if you feel like your brain just refuses to cooperate these days, well, you are definitely not alone.
So tell me, does this whole scenario sound a little too familiar? Right. You sit down, you clear your desk, you open up the laptop. You have every single intention of finally making some progress on that one big important thing. And then, poof, within minutes, your mind is just gone. You're suddenly checking your email for the 10th time, or you're thinking about what's for dinner. Or maybe you're just staring blankly into space, wondering, wait, where did my focus just go? Or how about this one? You promise yourself you're going to start a new habit. Maybe it's learning a new skill, or finally starting that creative project, or getting that side hustle off the ground. And then you just watch yourself avoid it for days, sometimes weeks. That big burst of motivation you were waiting for, it just never seems to show up. And you start thinking, man, what is wrong with me? Is my discipline just shot? But what if the problem isn't you? What if it's something else entirely?
Okay, so let's really get into this, because this is the core idea. There's this incredibly powerful way to reframe the entire problem. The argument is that we're not dealing with some kind of personal failing here. No, we're dealing with a training problem. And here's the kicker. For years, most of us have been, completely by accident, teaching our brains to fight against the very things we say we want to do. We've been rewarding distraction and teaching ourselves to run away from effort, all without even realizing it was happening. I mean, just think about the last time you opened your phone. Did you even think about it? Maybe you were bored for literally 2 seconds, or waiting in line, or you just felt that tiny little twinge of discomfort. And boom, like magic, your hand reached for your phone. That's not really a conscious choice, is it? That's a trained response. And what this shows us is this huge, fundamental mismatch. See, on one hand, our whole digital world has trained our brains to want, no, to expect a constant river of instant rewards, constant newness, and zero discomfort. Those little hits of dopamine. But on the other hand, the deep, meaningful work, that stuff that actually brings us real satisfaction and growth, it demands the complete opposite. And think about the consequence of this. Every single time you escape that feeling of boredom or difficulty by picking up your phone and scrolling, you're reinforcing a really simple lesson in your brain. Hey, effort is uncomfortable, but this distraction, this feels great. Over time, your brain just gets incredibly good at finding that escape hatch. It becomes a superhighway. This is such a perfect analogy. Your brain isn't out to get you. It's not trying to sabotage your goals. It's just following its training. I mean, think about it. If you give a dog a treat every time it jumps on the couch, guess what? It's gonna keep jumping on the couch. Your brain is no different. It's just doing what it's been rewarded for over and over again. So the big question is, how do we fix this? Well, if the problem is bad training, then the solution has to be better training. And the best news of all is that our brains are amazingly adaptable. They can learn new tricks. We just have to start giving them the right instructions. And the key here, this is really important, it isn't to fight your brain. It's not about forcing it into submission with sheer willpower. The real goal is to gently, slowly, teach it that a little bit of discomfort is not a 5-alarm fire. That feeling bored isn't actually something we need to run away from. And honestly, this is where so many of us mess up. We try to go from 0 to 100, right? From being constantly distracted to demanding 2 hours of pure, deep focus. It's just like asking someone who hasn't jogged in a decade to go run a marathon tomorrow. It's a total recipe for failure. And all it does is reinforce that little voice in our head that says, see, I told you couldn't do it. So we start small, like probably smaller than you're thinking right now. Just 10 minutes. That's it. This isn't about finishing the whole project in one go. It's about completing one single repetition of focus. It's about getting one small win on the board. Okay, so here's the actual exercise. Step 1, pick one single task. Step 2, set a timer for just 10 minutes. Step 3, put your phone in another room. Seriously. And then here comes the most important part. When your brain inevitably starts screaming, I'm bored, or, hey, let's go check email, you don't fight it. You just notice the feeling, you acknowledge it, and then you gently bring your focus back to the task. You just stay with it. That is the training. Now, when you start doing this, even just a little bit, something really fascinating starts to happen. your entire relationship with these big, scary concepts like motivation and boredom, it just starts to change. For starters, you stop waiting around to feel motivated. You actually discover that just starting the work is what creates the motivation. It's backwards from how we usually think about it. And you learn that the discomfort of boredom, that's not a stop sign. It's just the price of admission for real deep focus. And by giving your brain a break from the fire hose of constant information, you finally give it the space it needs to breathe, to connect ideas, and to actually learn something. All right, so as we start to wrap this up, let's really land on what I think is the most powerful idea in all of this. This isn't about who you are as a person. It's about what you practice. Look, this is not a one-week miracle fix. Some days are going to feel easy, and other days are going to feel absolutely impossible. And that is 100% normal. If you slip up and fall back into old habits, you haven't failed. You're just in the middle of the process, right? You don't get mad at the dog, you just start the training session over again. Please let this one really sink in. You don't lack discipline. You just haven't practiced it enough yet. You are not a person who can't focus. You're a person whose focus muscle has just gotten a little weak from lack of use. And just like any muscle, it can be strengthened. Remember, you're not broken. Your brain just adapted perfectly to the world it's been living in, a world of endless, easy stimulation. But now you want to build and create and learn things that require something more. And the good news is you can absolutely retrain your brain to do just that. So, in the end, it all comes down to one small choice. Just 10 focused minutes. No phone, no escape routes, just you and the task at hand. That's where this whole journey begins. The only question left is, what will your 10 minutes be?